just left GameStop, was able to pick up a Nintendo Switch Pro controller for you guys to see the review on, and also picked up Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe for the Nintendo Switch. I had to go to 2 different GameStops. The first GameStop, they didn't have the Switch controller. They tried selling me the $140 bundle that comes with Super Smash Brothers, but I'm not ready to pick that game up yet. I have a lot of other games I need to dedicate my time to, and I was only able to pick up the game there, and then I have a story for that GameStop, and GameStops in general, it seems. So that'll be coming more towards the end of the video. Hey, alright, so I'm back at the house. Just brought in the stuff I got at GameStop. I was gonna do an initial unboxing of the Pro controller and upload that today, but instead I decided to make this about my GameStop experience today. And basically the reason why I'm doing that is I always have the same experience when I go to the closest GameStop to my house, and I just feel like I need to tell you guys about it, and I want to know if you guys have the same experience. I used to work for GameStop. I worked for GameStop a long time ago, like maybe 10 years ago, but their business model hasn't really changed since then. You know, as an employee, we were told to push used games, push memberships, and push used systems, because that's all going to give GameStop more of a profit than if they sold a new product, which is understandable. I get it from a business perspective, that's what they're doing. But I feel like things were a lot more honest back then, even though they were still they still had a shadiness to them. We were still more honest with the employer and the employee and the customer. And trade values were also a little more fair for a little bit longer of a time. When I first started seeing things really change over was when I saw, when I first bought Watch Dogs. I bought it when it first came out, and I think it came out in the middle of the spring, if I'm not mistaken. And by the time summer was over, they were offering like $8 for the game. The first one. I know the second one came out in in October of 2016. I'm talking about the first one that came out like 2013, 2014. $60 game. Maybe 6 months later, they were offering like $6 for the game, which that was like what really opened my eyes. Like, all right, you know what? I think I'm just gonna buy new games from them when I have to, and not so much trade in. At least when the games are older, I'll still take advantage of when the games are a little bit newer, giving me better value. Or as a Nintendo fan, the first party Nintendo games holds value for a very, very long time. If that's the route that you decide to go, and then hold out for a sale like they just had, where a lot of the Nintendo games were down to like $41, $42. But over the years, and I've seen changes of management in my local GameStop, and I've seen changes in how they treat customers versus how they treat their jobs. And I understand a job is a job, and it's a paycheck, and it's going to help you pay bills at the end of the day. But at the same time, it's about making the customer happy, and it's about making the customer feel like they got the best experience possible. For the last 2 years, every time I go into this GameStop, I always go in, I guess it's good luck or bad luck, I always go right around the same shift, so I usually see the same people in that store. And whenever you go in for a video game, nowadays things have changed, but now they sell video game warranties for $3. They guarantee your game. I've never, ever had an issue with my CD burning out, being scratched. As soon as it comes out of the system, I put it right in the case, and it goes right into a safe area. Same thing with my game cartridges. I take the game cart out. It doesn't just sit on my table for my cat or my daughter or anybody to play with and mess around with. It goes right into a game case. So I never, ever, ever buy the game warranty, at least when I'm given the choice. A lot of times, and a lot of it's me being forgetful and not checking and not looking at the receipt in time, but I always get the situation corrected. I'll go in, I'll buy a brand new game. Usually I'll go in when the game is like a day or two old. I'll get it right away. I'll ask for the game, and as I'm being rung up, more often than not, I'm using a gift card, or I'm using a card for the transaction, not money. So when you use card for the transaction, the employee is not supposed to touch your card machine at all. They're not supposed to hinder the screen. They're not supposed to, keep pressing the green button until you get to the final, enter your PIN or anything. And these employees at this GameStop do not understand that they're supposed to ask you for your game warranty at the beginning of the transaction if you would like to buy it. I know that they're supposed to keep explaining it every time you go in, but they're supposed to ask, hey, we have a 1-year GameStop video game warranty on the CD that you're buying. Do you want it? And if you say yes or no, that's it. You're supposed to say yes or no, and that's all that there is to that transaction. This GameStop will always, 100% of the time, try to sneak in the game warranty into your transaction, especially if you're using a card. When I go in and I'm using cash, they never try to sneak it in. But as soon as they see you pull that card out, you can check. They put it on the transaction line on the screen, and it happened today. Most of the time, they won't even tell you they put it there. You have to catch yourself and do it. This guy thought that he was being slick, and I go and I say, hey, what's up? I want to pick up Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe for the Switch, and I'd like a Nintendo Switch Pro controller if you so have one. And it turns out they didn't, so he saw that I had 2 coupons that I had redeemed earlier in the day that I had printed out, but when you redeem them, they show up on your account when you go into the store. And I had 2 video games that I wanted to trade in. Now, I wanted to use that trade-in and the coupons towards getting the Nintendo Switch Pro controller. So he's like, oh, I see you have 2 coupons. Do you want to redeem those? I'm like, no, I have to go to another GameStop to get the Pro controller. I'm going to use it for that. I'd rather use my card, my gift card for the video game. He says, okay. And he sees them, and I kid you not, I heard the click on the keyboard and I see the swipe happening in my mind. And just as I go to swipe the gift card, my receipt goes from $65 with tax for just the game to $68 with the $3 warranty on the screen just before I put my card into the machine to swipe the gift card. Now, if you don't know, the trade credit cards, the gift cards, and normal credit cards, as soon as you swipe it, that's it. You cannot back out. You swipe that gift card or the trade credit card, and it automatically takes that money out. There's no way to reverse it. There's no way to do anything other than a refund onto the card. So if you don't notice it, that's it. You don't really know until you look at your receipt. It's happened buying Watch Dogs 2. It's happened buying Horizon, Call of Duty World War II. I didn't buy Spider-Man or Red Dead from that GameStop just on principle because I knew they were going to try to upsell that warranty. And then Super Mario Bros. U, I figured I might as well just go to that GameStop, bang it out because it's only 5 minutes down the road. Just get the game, get the controller. It turns out I had to go to Far Sales or Bayside anyway, so I should have just done that. And just as I saw it, I said, nope. I was like, get that warranty off of there. He's like, oh, well, you know, it protects your game for a year. I'm like, no, I get that, but now I have to call corporate because you just violated your employee policy. And he looks at me kind of confused. I'm like, you never notified me that you were putting that on the line, and you never asked me for it. I was like, I've had to call your main office or regional office at least 10 times in the last 3 or 4 years because you guys keep practicing the same policies. And I know that it stems from the manager of the store because other employees that have transferred to the stores that I prefer to go to all tell me, yeah, that's the instructions the manager gave us while we were being trained. We were told, look, just bang in that $3, and if they ever come back for a return on it, just try to explain to them, and 50% of the time they'll leave angry, or they'll leave angry and keep the warranty. And I was like, yeah, but you realize 100% of the time they're probably leaving angry. And they're like, well, yeah, but numbers is very important. Number of warranties sold, number of memberships sold, number of used games sold as far instead of new games, especially if the game is still popular and very new. They care about the used sales more than the new sales, which actually hurts the developers' numbers because if like a game like Red Dead Redemption 2, it came out in October. If there's a new copy and a used copy in a GameStop and you decide to buy a used copy, you're buying that game for the first time. It doesn't show up on Red Dead 2's Redemption sales numbers. It's as far as they know, that copy has been sold and it's only been played by one person. So in reality, it's kind of hurting those numbers unless GameStop is somehow like contacting Rockstar and saying, hey, we've sold 20,000 used copies of Red Dead 2 in the last month, and then they throw it onto their numbers. But at the same time, Rockstar is going to say, wow, that's 20,000 sales that we lost out on because GameStop sells them for $5 less, technically 10 with your Elite Pro membership. So I told the guy, I was like, you know, I'm not going to name names, and I know the guy's name. I was like, I'm not going to name names, but I got to make a complaint about the store again, because every time I call corporate or call the central office, they keep saying, oh, well, we're going to look into it, we're going to look into it. With the amount of times that I have called and with the amount of times that my friends have called, I can't see how that manager's still in that store. But that's beside the GameStop loves numbers. GameStop is not caring about the customer anymore. That's why they're being sold to the lowest bidder, or the highest bidder it seems at this point, and it's a bidding war to see who can get it for the cheapest. It's really a buyer's market as far as GameStop is concerned. So that is why I decided to tell this story today, because it was still fresh in my mind, and every time it happens to me, it frustrates me. I did pick up Super Mario Bros. U. I got the standard Nintendo Switch Pro controller. I'm going to do an initial review probably on Monday. I'll record the video over the weekend or on Monday morning, and it'll be up by the afternoon. And at the end of the week, I'm going to have the full like first week review of the Switch controller. Don't really have to do much of a review on Super Mario Bros. It's a port from the Wii U, so there's not much to say about it. You guys can look at the videos. I'll still do one, but it will not be as in-depth as this guy. And don't forget, this is going to be compared to the 8-Bit Do SN30 Pro, and the SN30 Pro Plus I might get for the channel and do a review on it, but I'm probably not going to get it as soon as it comes out, just because I'm not a fan of the shape of it. It's too PlayStation Nyko-y. I kind of like 8-Bit Do and the traditional look, so we'll see what happens there. But on Monday, I'll have the video up later today, and on Monday, I'm going to have the initial review of the Switch Pro controller and whether or not Mario Bros. U Deluxe ported over to the Switch like the way that everybody expected it to. Bye.